Peace, family. It's Asmar Bilal, host here at Secure Tomorrows, where we talk about what happens after the lights, after the cheers, and how athletes build real legacy outside of the game. Today's guest, another fighting Irish from Tinley Park to South Bend, Indiana, then being drafted in the third round to Baltimore, making his way all the way back to the hometown, to Chicago. I got my brother with me, Miles Boykin.
Yeah, appreciate you having me, man.
Man, good to be here, man. We here in your spot, right?
It's been a minute, ain't it?
Yeah, man. I know you come. Yeah, I didn't realize that the practice facility is not in Chicago. So that's in what, Forest?
Yeah, it's in Lake Forest.
Okay,
Lake Forest, yeah. So it's about a hour plus away.
Plus.
So
Okay.
travel down here for games, but other than that, yeah,
Dang,
we
well,
out
I
the way.
appreciate you making the travel.
I appreciate you.
Yeah, it's been a little bit. I mean, the last time we spoke was at the Facilica for a wedding.
Wedding, yeah.
I got you. Yeah. So I'm guessing who next? That's fine.
You?
I got you, man. But man, glad to have you on. Man, let's rewind it back. I know for us, we met at the University of Notre Dame. We actually came in together.
Yeah.
Right. We was the same year. Right. Well, let's just speak about it. I guess I never even asked you. I'm sure you heard this question many times before. I know I have. But why Notre Dame for you?
Yeah, that's a funny story for me because the whole time I was being recruited, I wasn't even thinking about Notre Dame. I love Michigan State. I wanted to go to Michigan State. And I was about to commit to Michigan State, and then like the last 2 weeks of my recruitment, you know, how your parents always tell you, you know, school is the most important thing. I wasn't trying to hear any of that, man. Like, I was going to the league. None of that mattered. And then for some reason, I took the last visit to Notre Dame, and I was like, yeah, this is where I want to be. Like, it's more important, and it's just bigger than football. And so I thank God I matured in that moment, and, you know, my heart was set on Notre Dame at that point. And so the rest was kind of history in itself, but at the end of the day, I chose Notre Dame because it was going to develop me as a man.
Right. So bigger than football, you mentioned. I know at Notre Dame they push the 4 for 40 aspect. Is that kind of like why your parents was kind of hitting on it, that the understanding of the prestigious academics?
Yeah, I mean, my parents never said like we want you to go to Notre Dame, but it was a more so of a, you know, wherever you go, just make sure the academics is quality. Make sure that's matching, you know, your passion for football.
Yeah.
So for me, there was no other place that I could do that besides Notre Dame. You know, I'm getting a top 10 education and a top 10 football experience. And so for me, it was just, you know, a match made in heaven.
Yeah, for sure. And then at the University of Notre Dame, I know we was in a few classes together in inner city America, watching The Wire.
Yep.
So what did you study at Notre Dame?
I was business marketing. Yeah,
Okay,
so I went to the
business
business
marketing.
school. Yeah, man.
Okay.
We definitely had a couple electives together, though. We had a couple of history classes.
Yeah. So speak on that. What was some of the biggest difference that you kind of noticed transitioning from that high school level to, I mean, the college level? I mean, one of the big things with Notre Dame is it's not just, I mean, top talent athletes, but also the academic component. So I don't think a lot of athletes may even consider that part of it, the academic. So how was that transition just academically? And then you can also speak to just athletically.
Yeah, I'll never forget. We get there in the summer, and our first class was calculus. I know, like, if you was in the business school, you had to take calculus. And a lot of people take pre-calc in high school. Never took that. I think I took algebra or something like that. I think I got like a 40% on the first exam. Yeah. And I called my mom, and I was like, yeah, I don't know if this is going to be it. She was just like, just hang in there, man, and figure it out. And I think, like you said, the most important thing is, and I think all of us are competitive to some nature. So for me, it was like I got in that classroom around people that, you know, they did school for a living. Well, we were doing football for a living up until this point. So for me, it was like, okay, I got to, you know, flip the switch and find a way to figure out the best way to go about this class, to go about studying and time management. And that's really what I think Notre Dame helped me with, especially, you know, when you're young and you're a freshman there over the summer. And so for me, it was just kind of finding out, you know, how I can be the best in both worlds and compete with the best in both worlds. And I loved it. You know, at the end of the day, it was hard. You know, I wouldn't want to go through it again, but it taught me so much.
No, for sure. And just transitioning myself, I know you're still active. One of the biggest things is like how we got stretched so much at the University of Notre Dame.
Man.
I mean, Bayless, football period, but also academically. I used to just sit in class in those seminars and just think about the mind of some of those students. And I think about it to this day. I'm like, I'm never run into anybody like the students that we run into on campus. Like, you don't really run into them again in just normal day of life. I feel like
it changed your perspective.
Yeah.
Like if I never went to Notre Dame, I wouldn't even know half the things that I know today, or be interested in some of the things that I know today. Because like, I mean, you'll be sitting in a classroom and you'll just hear people debating about something that you've never even thought about, and now you got your own opinion about something. And so like, I love the fact that Notre Dame just brought a whole new element into my life, at least.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so I know you just kind of hit on the academic part of things. So, of course, right, you was a top athlete in high school to even, of course, get the scholarship to go to Notre Dame. But how was that transition, just switching from high school level ball to then? I know it's been far, right? You entering your 7th year in the league, so rewinding back to Notre Dame might be tough to even think about. But how, if you could, do you remember that transition from high school to Notre Dame?
Mean, it's funny. You know, we talk about coming in together, and obviously we was on an official visit together. And I remember seeing you. I'm like, there's no way. Like, we the same age. Like, it's just not. There's no way. There's no way. Man, I just remember seeing everybody in our class and just thinking like, and I'm not a small dude by any means, but I remember seeing everybody thinking like, so this is what college football looked like. And then you get there day one, and yeah, you're not the best player on the team anymore. Yeah. And that's, you know, I would say the majority of Division I athletes, that's pretty much what you come from. You know, you're the best player in the area, maybe even the best player in the state. Yeah. And you step into a school like Notre Dame, and you might not even be one of the best 50 players there. Yeah. And that's from day one. You're 18, playing against 21, 22-year-olds. I mean, shoot, now you're playing against 23, 24-year-olds with these new rules. But it's a transition. That's exactly what it is. The game is faster. You got to learn a lot more. I'm sure for you, like, defense is crazy. Offense concepts I've never ran. I'm in high school, I ran was goes and slants. Like, I don't know anything else. Just give me the ball. Now I'm running different routes, and I got to learn how to get out of my break. But I think that transition is just so huge for you in sense of the adversity. And I'm a strong believer in adversity only makes you better.
Truly.
I think, I know you can attest to this, but I don't think I'm the man I am today without adversity. Like, if everything was always easy, you would never grow. And so that's how I look at it. And football really was the thing that kind of taught me how to challenge myself and how to not waver from a challenge at the same time. I love being challenged now. You know, it's like a situation to where, like, if I haven't been challenged, I got to find a challenge somewhere in my life, you know?
Yeah, for sure. So kind of speak on that. I know one of the things that you just mentioned with that transition to Notre Dame, well, let me speak to it. I know for us, when we were red shirts, right? So we was red shirts. We actually got pulled up for the same game in Clemson. But of course, you mentioned like being in high school, you top dog, and now you get to the collegiate level, and right, that kind of, you know, curb your enthusiasm a little bit. Now we are red shirt freshmen. We not necessarily playing like we anticipated. What exactly? Because that's adversity, right? You just mentioned you love adversity now. What was some of the things or techniques that you were able to learn during that period of time to kind of push through, like not being that guy and having to necessarily wait your turn?
I think, like you just talked about, there's obviously techniques, but when you're that young, you're really not worried about any of that. Like, I'm frustrated, man. Like, I just go from getting the ball thrown at me every play to now, like, I'm not even playing. I'm dressing up, but I can't even touch the field.
Yeah.
And it's just, I think frustrating is the only word I could really use to sum it up, because it's like the talent is there, you know. Mm-hmm. It's just everything else got to catch up to it. You got to get a little bit stronger. You know, you got to get a little bit more understanding of the game. And so for me, and I saw this a lot with you too, like, talent was never the issue. Yeah. You know, it's about the other things that you kind of got to learn to figure out on how to play, you know, the game of football. Mm-hmm. Once I understood that, it was kind of like I had to take a step back in order for me to understand that that was really what it was. I never doubted myself from a talent, you know, standpoint, but I doubted myself in, do I know the game as well as other people? And that's when you start, you know, diving in the playbook a little bit more, watching more film, you know, maybe lifting a little bit extra, taking your nutrition serious. And for me, that was the biggest adjustment, because high school, like you said, you better than everybody. You just step out on the field and you better than everybody.
Yeah.
Now, you know, I'm in a room with Will Fuller, and it's like I can't do anything that guy does, but he just knows the game so well, and I just kind of try to humble myself and study the playbook and get in the playbook.
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely a humbling experience, right? Transitioning over, and then you see guys like, for me, I came in, it was Jalen Smith.
Yeah,
Jalen Smith was on the field, so I was like, yeah, so for sure, just learning the game, and then also it was many things I feel like that we had at the university that kind of helped too. Like we had Selkin,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Kelly brought in Selkin, the mental performance training. That was big. We brought in Bayless. That was big. That stretched us. So I think it's many things that we can probably look back and be like, dang, yeah, that definitely helped to excel our growth. But man, we went through Notre Dame, and then you came up on top, right? Let's take it to the Citrus Bowl game. I know this was a highlight moment for you, right? Where all your hard work kind of got highlighted in that instance. If you could just speak on that, how did it feel? Just going crazy at the Citrus Bowl game like that, because that was, a lot of times we used to say change your life.
Yeah, change your life.
And it's literally
Change your
games like that'll change your life.
Yeah.
And I feel like that happened for you. So if you could just speak on that, how was that moment for you?
Yeah, I think that game, there was a lot of behind the scenes stuff in terms of you always got to be ready for your moment. You never know when it's going to come. And especially, like, obviously, you see me working every day, and I wasn't playing as much as I would want to. Obviously, obviously I'm playing special teams. I'm playing receiver here and there. I had a couple catches throughout the season. But definitely wasn't as a part of the offense as I felt like I should have been or that I could have been. And sometimes those opportunities just don't come. So for me, I've been working hard all season. And EQ gets hurt in bowl practice. And so, Delvon Alexander comes up to me in the middle of the week. It's like, well, like, hey, you got to start. You got to play. And I'm like, all right, cool. Like, coach, I've been ready for this. Like, that's what I've been wanting. And I remember one of the first plays of the game, one of the first third downs, ran a go ball. Book throws it to me on the sideline. And I just catch it, and I get smacked, man, by the safety. Fall, I drop it. I go to, hey, someone's like, hey, Dell's on the phone. I'm like, what? Why is Dell on the phone? Because normally they call quarterbacks, right? They only call quarterbacks during the game. I pick up the phone. He's like, I told you that was going to happen. I'm like, bro. Oh, all right, coach. All right, whatever. So then I lock back in, I make the next third down play. And then the game is going on. I have a couple more catches here and there. And then, the last play of the game, Book throws it up. I make a play on it and score. And I kind of just took that momentum and rode into the next season with it.
Yeah, man. Big time game too. Yeah. So I mean, it was good. It was fun just to watch that. I mean, you. That's how we won the game. But man, that was big time. And then of course, right, we fast forward, and then of course, the draft day.
Yeah.
I know that was a big moment, not only for you but also your family, right? So I know you went third round. Yeah. So you went high in the draft, right? So just speak on that. What was that moment for you and your family?
It's always funny because people ask me that, and I don't think the moment was what they actually thought it was. So I was scared because, obviously I had another year eligibility, and I declared a year early, and everyone is, obviously saying like, oh, you're gonna go here, you're gonna go there, you're gonna get picked in this round, you're gonna get picked in that round, and you can't really listen to any of it because the only people that know is the GMs that are sitting down in the room. You go through the whole draft process, and that's obviously tough because you're training twice a day. You got interviews, you got this, that, and the third. You meet with coaches, and you really don't know how to go about it because obviously it's your first time doing it. Yeah. And it's not like being recruited. It's like I'm trying to sell myself at this point. Like usually college coaches are coming after you. It's like now, like, okay, I got to put my best foot forward and let you see my best qualities and get drafted. They ask you about the worst moments in your life, the best moments in your life, and you got to have a solid answer for all of them. So I didn't know where I was going to get picked. I didn't know when I was going to get picked. And I was so scared that I didn't even have a draft party on day 2, which is where I was projected to go. Wow. I was like, yeah, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to just have it on day 3, and like I'm going to be safe either way. And so I just had my family at Buffalo Wild Wings, and we were just watching. And I'm watching, I'm seeing all these receivers go, and I'm seeing everybody else get picked. And now I'm starting getting nervous. Like, I'm like, okay, like, am I even going to get picked at this point? And finally my phone starts ringing, and I remember looking at my phone, seeing it ring, and then hearing the Ravens call me to draft me. And I wasn't even excited in the moment. I was just relieved. Like it probably took me like a solid 2 hours before like I actually calmed down, and I was like, okay, like wow, like this is an incredible opportunity. Get on the phone with my agent. Obviously, I got my whole family around, and hugs and kisses going around. And for me, it was just that moment kind of solidified everything that you've been working for as an athlete. Because I think a lot of people see like, okay, you know, you played growing up, played in college, and now you got drafted. And it's like, being an athlete is a process. Like I've been doing since I could walk.
Yeah.
I've been doing this. And I tell people all the time, like, because I hate when people say like, oh, you're lucky, or oh, like you're lucky to be there, you're lucky to do this. And it's like, I've been doing this since I could walk.
Yeah.
And if you took anybody, or like we shouldn't make the money that we make, that's probably one of my biggest pet peeves. Because it's like, I don't care what job you do. If you were doing that job from the moment you could walk, you'd probably be making the same amount of money as I could. Like I've been playing football for 20 plus years. Nobody's been doing what they've been doing for 20 plus years our age. Yeah. Like you go to school, but that's not the same as like learning one trade. So for me, it's like, I think a lot of people don't realize like it's a craft to being an athlete while you still have to work on the other parts of yourself in order to, you know, be fully rounded as a person, you know, and that's hard to do. It's not a lot of time in the day to get all that done. And so for me getting drafted, it kind of symbolized that I made it, not in the sense of like I made it to the big show, but it's like everything that I did was worthwhile. Like it all worked. You know, I did it the right way, I felt like, and this is the result of that. And so like I knew I was on the right path, and I just had to keep doing what I was doing.
Yeah, truly. I mean, that's a good point you made. That's 20 years. Because a lot of times I speak a lot just on the show about athletes' identity getting wrapped into sport.
Yeah.
But I mean, you're hitting on it. I mean, it's if you're playing sports for 20 years of life and you only 28 years old, of course that's going to kind of intertwine with your identity as well, because you've been doing that for such a long time. But yeah, that's a strong point. I guess I didn't necessarily think about that aspect of it. But let me ask you this, because what you made me think about when you were talking about, I mean, in college they're choosing you, but now you got to showcase yourself, right? Do you feel like Notre Dame prepped you well to be in that moment, to go through the interviews and go through that draft process?
100%, because I think, like you said, we talk about athletes, and you know, when you're done playing, it's hard for you because that's what your whole life was wrapped up in. For me, I have a different perspective. Yeah, I've been playing football for 20 years, but going to Notre Dame for 4 years helped me realize that I got a lot more valuable stuff than football. And don't get me wrong, I love football, but football is something I do. It's not who I am. Like, I love playing it, but at one point I'm going to be done playing it. I got a whole bunch of other things that I'm proud of still that have nothing to do with football. So from that standpoint, it's like you get in those meeting rooms and it's like they're drilling you with hard questions. They're asking you about your study habits. They're asking you about your sleeping habits. Do you like going out? All this other stuff. And it's like, Coach, I went to Notre Dame. Do you think I would be passing if I could go out every night? Like, clearly you've never been to Notre Dame because you can't even go out anyways. But it's like I didn't have another choice. Like, all I had to do was school and football. Yeah. And I remember spring ball. It's like, what time we waking up in spring ball?
Man, can't remember.
5:30 maybe.
5:30.
5:30. It's
early.
like we waking up at 5:30. My last class don't get out till 7:30. Yeah. It's like that don't leave time for anything else. And so it's always so funny. Like, going to Notre Dame and playing football at the same time is the hardest thing I've done in my life. Like, not playing in the NFL. Playing in the NFL is hard.
Yeah.
It's not harder than going to Notre Dame. I promise you. I promise you. And so from that standpoint, like, you get in front of coaches and like, Coach, I don't care what you ask me to do. It's not going to be harder what I just got done doing for 4 years.
Yeah.
At a pretty high level. So that's why I think Notre Dame really prepared me for just the NFL and putting my best foot forward and just learn how to deal with pressure. Notre Dame plays on national TV every week.
Oh.
I always tell people that too. It's like, imagine, like, if you think your job is hard, imagine millions of people watching you every time and then critiquing you, telling you how to do your job, even though they've never done it. Which is, you know, I love fans for being passionate, but that's what comes with the nature of the game. It's like, but imagine if any job was that, you know, it'd be obviously a lot more stressful, a lot more pressure. But pressure's a privilege. You know, we always say that.
Pressure is a privilege, indeed. Dang, you bringing up some good stuff that I haven't thought about in a while. I mean, honestly,
You forgot it.
yeah, for real. Like, if we go pen to paper, it's a lot that, I mean, is carried from Notre Dame alone that, I mean, stays with you that you're going to be able to translate in all other aspects. Like, that point just alone, like, we had a full stadium every single game.
Every game.
80,000 watching. And you're right. Like, nobody honestly has to take a spectacle where they are literally just observing you do your job. and it got everything to say about it, too. So it's like, that's a great point.
Drop
man.
that ball if you want to.
Yeah. Pressure is a privilege, indeed. But yeah, man, so that's big time. So you made it, you got drafted, and then, of course, you went into the NFL as well. So I know you just mentioned, like, I mean, one of the hardest parts was, of course, being at the University of Notre Dame. At that point, once you make it to the professionals, I mean, you're a professional, right?
Yeah.
They don't have to necessarily drill you and train you to the point that they did because, I mean, in college, I mean, it's more like developmental, too. You got to develop into the player that you are to get to the professionals. But if you could just speak on that transition, what was that transition going from that collegiate level to then the professional level?
Yeah, I mean, that was hard, too, but not for the same reasons.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard because, like I said, when I got to Notre Dame, I never questioned my talent.
Mm-hmm.
When you get to the NFL,
Yeah.
man, you see some of these dudes and you start questioning your talent, man.
The superstars, the superstars.
Man, you start seeing like some of the true one percenters. Like,
Yeah.
dog, there's no way we on the same field. There's no way we play the same sport.
Yeah.
Like, you got dudes out there who weigh 300 plus pounds running the same 40 I ran. Like, come on, like,
I mean,
it's not the same, man. So you get to the league and it's like, okay,
cream of the crop.
talent doesn't set us apart anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So now what really sets us apart? My mindset, you know, knowing the plays, seeing everything. But mind you, I'm a rookie, so I'm still learning a lot of things at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And so you kind of, especially if you're drafted, you thrown into the fire. They're not saying like you got time to develop. Like, no, you got to go.
Man, we invested here.
Yeah.
You got to get you up to speed.
Yeah, I'm learning on the fly. I mean, it's a great experience, man. And obviously, like, we had a couple really good years, the 3 years that I was in Baltimore, and I was so thankful to be there and with that staff and with those teammates. But at the same time, it's an extremely demanding sport and it's an extremely demanding city. So you're not winning a Super Bowl in Baltimore, you're messing up.
Yeah.
And that's a standard they hold high, and you got to love that standard. It's like, I'd rather be there than anywhere else. I don't want to be in a place that, you know, doesn't care about winning. And so you got to respect that from the fans. And I think that's one of the things that I've had to learn being in the league. And that's, you know, there's always back and forth between, you know, the athletes and the fans. And I'm here to say I couldn't be more thankful for them. You know, obviously you got some that like cross the line every now and then, but at the end of the day, I wouldn't make the money that I make. The sport wouldn't be what it is without the fans. Yeah. So I think you got to take everything with a grain of salt, man. And for me, that was a huge adjustment. Just, you know, because you learn how to be yourself at that point too. Like, obviously you're going to a whole new city, living by yourself. Like, I wasn't, you know, an hour and a half away from home anymore. Yeah. Week in, week out, you're just studying the playbook, learning new plays, and it goes by so quick, man. I blinked, I'm year 7, and I've learned so much from the coaches that I've been around, the players that I've been around, and it's been a blessing, honestly.
Yeah. Man, I want to speak on, so you went to Baltimore, right? Of course, when we make it to the professional, you just mentioned it. It's the cream of the crop, right? We got the best talent. I mean, honestly, for you, I mean, you had arguably the best quarterback, Lamar Jackson, as your quarterback, right, at the head of the offense. Yeah, speak on, how was it just being with Lamar?
Man,
everybody don't get that chance. So
I tell people this all the time. Lamar probably one of the most laid back and coolest people you will ever meet.
Yeah.
And for me, Lamar, like when I came in, he was only a year older than me, but I had already seen him as like a vet. Like, I'm watching him win the Heisman and all this other stuff, and now I get a chance to play with Lamar. And my favorite thing about playing with Lamar is just that he is probably one of the most gifted people that I've ever seen. It'd be funny because we going out to warm up and stuff like that, and Lamar never warmed up. Lamar didn't do anything. The stuff that you see him do on Sundays, imagine what he was doing in practice, man. Like, some of the stuff I've seen him do, I'll never see again. And then for him to just, he'll act like it's nothing. Like, he'll just run back to the huddle and be like, oh, it's whatever. Like, and he's just, man, he was probably one of the coolest people to be around because when it comes to the profession of being a football player, he really embodied that. Like, he was a true football player because he was going to do whatever it took for the team to win. And he was a great leader. Like, you know, he always was very patient with people. He was always like trying to do the right thing and always, going out of his way to make sure people felt comfortable. And that's one of the things I respected most about Lamar.
Dang. Okay. That's big time. We just got to hit on this real quick because you mentioned like you got guys running at your same speed. Like that's 300 pounds.
Yeah.
But I know we always have to debate about like who's actually fastest. Right. So I know we used to have speed school back in Notre Dame.
And you didn't.
And we never had the opportunity. But if we could just get it on here, like if you could just be honest. If
you were faster than me?
If we was to get into a race, me versus you don't think I... No, be honest though, because I don't think a lot of people understand.
Right. Okay. I'm looking at the camera when I say this. I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah, be real with them.
Asmar couldn't beat me on my worst day. On my worst day.
That's how you...
After 88s, I can still beat you in a race.
Okay, wow. After 88.
After 88s.
88.
After 88s.
Wow. Not
Yeah.
88.
Yeah.
Dang. Speak to what's 88?
Oh man. To this day, the worst football drill I've ever had. It's just 8 plays in a row at tempo. So it's pretty much a 2-minute drill. Yeah. But it don't matter what happened. You can run a post the first play and you come in all the way back just to run another play. And you move all the way down the field. And yeah, that was
So after that, after exhaustion, you were still...
After that, if Asmar didn't hit an 88 and I was the only one that did it, I'm still confident. Yeah.
Wow. I can't believe that. What did you run? That's a...
4.42.
4.42.
Yeah.
Okay. Understood. You got speed, but I mean, I thought you was gonna be honest. But we'll just move on. That's in the progression
for the sake of the pod.
For the sake of the pod.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, man. So you made it to the professional level, and then I know you've been right on a few different teams. Mm-hmm. I know myself. Like I changed teams. I also had the injury, and I'm sure you see like locker rooms are fluid. Yeah. There's guys coming in and out. Right. So that's one of the big differences from, the collegiate level to the professionals. It's not a job at that extent at the collegiate level to where they just cut you. But if you could just speak on that, because we're heading into year 7, right? We know that the average spend in the league is 3.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You made it to year 7. So what exactly, if you could just think and pinpoint, what are some of the key things that helped you to exceed and be in this position that you are today to make it to year 7?
Yeah, I think as crazy as it sounds is being a professional. Like I think you've seen it being in the locker rooms too, and it's like guys make it easy to get cut sometimes. Like they not showing up to things on time. Yeah. They messing up plays, and it's like we always talk about these non-talent issues. Like it doesn't take talent to show up on time. It doesn't take talent, to know to play. It doesn't take talent to do a lot of these things. So for me, my perspective was always, if it's not about talent, I'm going to try to be 100% in that, because that's all under my control. There's a lot of things you can't control, but everything that you can control, if you're in the right place at the right time and doing what you're supposed to be doing, I think usually teams see that, they care about that, and that's how they want their locker room to be. And like you said, I've been in some great locker rooms. I played for some great coaches. Like Mike Tomlin has taught me so much about, not even just football, but just being a man. And he's probably the coach that I've learned the most from. And I've had, like I said, great coaches. Like John Harbaugh is a great coach. But Mike T, for me, took it to another level just because he teaches you about things like that. He's gets up in front of the room and says, like, I'm doing you guys a disservice if I don't tell you this, He always talks about, like, yesterday's problems can't be today's problems. Yeah. It's like, if I messed something up yesterday, like, I'm definitely not going to mess it up today or moving on in the future. And he just had so many little sayings and little quotes that kind of stuck with me and will forever stick with me. But I think that would probably be my biggest advice, man. Non-talent issues, they can't be an issue.
Non-talent issues. Man, when you say that, it just makes me think of Notre Dame, because, if we think about it, all this stuff was developed and cultivated there.
100%. Like, you get to the pros and it's like, I'm doing things that I was doing at Notre Dame. And you got guys coming into the league that aren't doing the same thing, or like their culture was different. So they should just see things a different way. And it's like, no, dog, like I got to do everything the right way. And that way, if something does go wrong, like if I don't make a play, if I don't do this there, the things that I couldn't control at that time, now I at least got a resume to fall back on. It's like, I'm a good guy. Like I'm always do what's best for the team. I'm not a me guy. So for me, that's always been a huge thing. Yeah,
for sure. And I'm sure the coaches look at that, right? Being reliable, right? I can rely on you to do your job. And not just rely on your talents, but rely on you that you know your work, right? And that you're going to do, right, what's in your power to pretty much get it done. But I think that's a good point. And honestly, just to kind of hit on this, because a lot of what this platform is about is the transitions, because I hit on this on almost every episode. And I think you hit on a good point. Like, you don't want this, you don't want what you do to be your identity. However, what you can do is use the skills that you developed in the sport and be able to translate it into other areas of life. Because everybody football careers go in at one point. You're going to have to transition. Whether you play in the league 20 years, 10 years, 7 years, whatever it is, you got to transition. And I think it's those non-talent things that is going to be able to transfer over and help you excel in that next transition in life. So I think you hit on a good point there. But yeah, man, so I asked this question in some of them, but we are, as you know, right, a lot of times for football players as professionals, we don't necessarily, people don't even, they may not even know Miles Boykin outside the helmet. Right. They just know you, helmet strapped on, Miles Boykin. But so sometimes we want to hit on, right, who's the man behind the helmet? Yeah. So for the ones that's watching, what are some of the things that you do outside of the sport?
If I'm in off season,
Yeah.
fishing, man. I love fishing. Yeah. I love fishing, eating what I catch. To me, that's probably my biggest release and just the thing that calms me down the most. And it's still a physical activity and it's still competitive to me. So, yeah, that's something it's huge to me. Like, I'll probably never give up fishing. I actually can't wait for the next time I go.
Fishing? I didn't expect that. I didn't know you was a fisher.
Yeah, see? Yeah.
Okay.
You ain't know who's behind the helmet.
I ain't know who was behind the helmet. Dang, okay. Understood. Perfect, man. And then we got to address the elephant in the room, my man. we here in Chicago. Man, you was born in Chicago, right? Grew up Tinley Park. Yeah. And now, full circle, we back with this the home team.
Yeah.
So if you could just speak on that, man, how does it feel to be back home?
It was a full circle moment for me. You know, kind of like you said, obviously being born here. When I came out, I did not want to be in Chicago. And it's really? It had nothing to do with the team, had nothing to do with anybody. It's just like, it's too close. It's too close to home, man. I wouldn't have known how to handle everything. And so now that I'm older, you know, I'm at the end of my career in terms of, you know, I've played the beginning, the middle of my career, and now I'm towards the end. I can handle it better. Like, my mom calls me on Thursday. I can say, Mom, okay, I'll see you at this date. My grandma calls me. I can say, I can see you at this date. So it's great to be back home now because I get to see my family all the time. And I probably didn't get homesick until last year playing in Seattle, and I'm hours away, and I can't, you know, it seems like I'm just not even near my family, which I'm not. But now that I'm back home, man, I love seeing my friends, my family, and really just being able to kind of embrace Chicago in a way that I was never able to do before.
Yeah, that's big time. And just to think about it, I know you play with many great athletes, but I know Chicago, the wide receiver room is pretty stacked, man. If you could, how was it just playing with these guys?
Man, it's a lot of talent in this room. A lot of young guys. It's funny. I'm actually the oldest in the room, which is crazy.
Oh wow,
it's crazy.
Old,
yeah. Me and DJ Moore. I think I got DJ Moore beat by a couple months. Okay. But honestly, great group of guys, talented group of guys that work hard. Even down to the rookies, and the rookies have great attitude this year. But I think the biggest thing that I've taken away from this receiver group is they know how to have fun and play the game. Like, every day I get to the facility, I can't wait to see those guys and just joke with them and just go play football, because that's all it's about, man, having fun and playing football. And this group does that probably the best that I've ever been with.
Dang. Man, I'm sure Chicago is excited to have Chicago's finest come back
That's
home,
what it is,
man.
Chicago's finest?
Chicago's finest.
Oh, okay.
Man, this is stomping grounds, man. So it was good to see that you made it home, man, just from afar, too, bro. Still supporting you. But, man, let's talk legacy, man. We made it back full circle. We in Chicago. Let's talk legacy. I know you mentioned, right, we in different stages within your career, but in terms of legacy, what do you want the people to say about Miles Boykin when the game is all said and done?
Yeah,
you walk off the field.
I think that's a hard question. You know, I never really thought about what I wanted my legacy to be in terms of football. But if I did, it would probably have to be with probably being the best teammate that I could be. I feel like if you ask anybody who played football with me if they needed something from me, that hopefully I was present and I was there and I was willing to do whatever it took for the team to win. I still hold that near and dear to my heart. It doesn't matter, what they asked me to do, whether I was on practice squad, whether I was active, whether I was starting, whether I wasn't. I truly, took it to heart that I was going to do whatever it took for the team to win. And so I think I would say that, and I think I would say that just how hard of a worker I am. I think that everybody would know that I just left it all out on the field, which is, why I don't think when I'm done playing I'll have any regrets. I knew what it took, battling through the injuries, being tired, being sore. I did whatever it took, to win the games, and that's what I'm most proud of.
Man, that's big time. And being a teammate of yours, I can attest to everything you said, man. Truly.
Even the workouts?
Hey, even the workouts. That's crazy. And then also, man, my theme question for the show is, are you ready for win if win was tomorrow? Right? I know you've been 7 years deep, right? And of course you want to go until you can't go any longer, right? You want to go out on your own terms. But, right, if win was tomorrow, what exactly do you think you'll be able to do?
Yeah, I think one of the things that I've talked about doing and something that's big to me is just mentoring. I want to, especially, being from the city, I want to be able to give back, and I want to, start a program that helps mentor kids, because I think the biggest thing that I've seen, at least growing up, and I don't know if you agree with me or not, and I feel like it'd be great if you touched on it too, but I don't think we have enough role models in a sense of like, and it might sound cliche, but not everybody got to play football to be great. Not everybody got to go and be an artist to be great. Like, there's plenty of jobs. You can go be a doctor. You can go be a lawyer. You can go do a bunch of things. And so obviously it's cliche coming from a football player, but I just want to be able to open kids' minds into the world that was opened up to me when I went to Notre Dame. Before I got to Notre Dame, there was nothing else that was available to me. Like, I just felt like, like, I want to play football. That's all I want to do. I didn't care about anything else. Get there, my eyes are opened, and meet great people. And now I even see more value in myself because of that, So I just want to be able to give back and let kids see their own value. And something that Mike T kind of said that always stuck with me was, he was telling a story about, his life. And he said a lot of his life was always gray area. He didn't really know or didn't really care about a lot of things. It was all just gray to him. And football was the only thing that was black and white to him, because he knew how much he cared about that. And it really resonated with me, because that's how I felt. Football was always black and white to me. I get to Notre Dame, and a lot of that gray area started becoming black and white to me too. I started learning about what I cared about, what I was passionate about. I love football so much, it allowed me to see the life in everything else. And that was huge to me.
Yeah. Dang, that's big time. Yeah, but I think you're right, man. Just having the ability to mentor youth. I mean, with this platform in particular, this is kind of what I wanted to highlight, because whether it's at the high school level, not making it to the collegiate, or at the college level, not making it to the NFL, right? Once the game stopped, what I found just from transitioning myself is that a lot of athletes just have a hard time doing it. They continue to seek it. They continue to train. They hope to, like, they have this thought that they, like, I'm going to get picked up. And it's all that they know. So they don't really know what's next. And I think especially in our communities, everybody wants to be what you name, an artist. They want to be a rapper. They want to be a football player, a basketball player, because that's what they see on TV in our communities. So I think one of the biggest things that I think that's highlighted, or I emphasize or try to highlight, is with sports in particular, even if you do it, I think the biggest thing is trying to extract the principles, extract the disciplines, so that you can use these in other areas of life. So I think if we could, like, push the needle and mentor children to say, this isn't your only purpose, right? Although you might do this and utilize it, if anything, utilize it as a tool that you can pull from, so that as a vehicle, right, to excel you on other parts of life, right? So I like that part too, that mentorship. So, okay, so that's what you feel like you would do next.
Yeah, I mean,
To some type of mentorship.
I think for me, it's just the perfect calling. I love helping people. I love being around, and it allows me to, obviously take what I know and pass it down, but also see that see them do the same thing. You know, they're telling their friends, you know, these type of things. And like you kind of said, like for me, I just want sports to be a vehicle. There's nothing wrong with having your goal be to get to the NFL, but along then you can meet some great people. You can experience some great things by just seeing where football takes you. Like if you get a full scholarship to university and you got to use it, you got to learn something. You got to come out of that place with a degree and knowing that you have other skills outside of football. And I think that's huge for anybody.
Yeah. Yeah, that's huge. Adam, Sargent.
Sorry.
We had Sargent on, and it's funny just knowing Sargent, how he was, but it's a lot of wisdom.
You get it now.
I get it now.
I get it now.
And Sarge was always drilling on the academics and just making sure it was a holistic approach. And I think now, afterwards, you can kind of understand that value of not just focusing all your focus on the football, but also on developing yourself just in academia and other aspects of life as well.
You know, I watched the podcast, man, and I remember him saying how he's okay with people not receiving what he says well because he knows he means well. And I just remember like how many, you know, little arguments people would get into with Sarge. I think everybody's got into it with Sarge at some point.
Yeah.
Is that you look back, man, 4 or 5 years, it's like, wow, man, like he was right about everything. Like if I just listened a little bit more, I could have learned a little bit more here or, you know, figured something else out. And he just is really an integral part of what Notre Dame means to me, at least.
Yeah, no doubt. But yeah, man, if you could, man, just for the listeners, for the ones that are listening, right, if you could give something to take with the listeners, just for the ones that's transitioning, whether that's at the high school level, collegiate level, or even the professionals, what's some tips or advice that you would give to them just to help them be able to move through that transition?
I think it's simple. Not easy, but it's simple. I would say find your passion. And if you put the same amount of effort that you put into sports as you do that passion, I promise you'll be successful in whatever you choose.
Man, not easy, but simple.
I
like that.
It's not easy, but it's simple, man. It's simple.
Yeah, for sure, brother. Well, man, it was an honor and privilege to have you on the show, man. Thanks for hopping on.
I appreciate you always, man.
Yes, sir, man. Good to see you.
Yeah.
Nothing's gonna stop me.